franktalks.com.
Check out the Frank Talks Relationships column currently running in the Suburban Newspaper online magazine. To read more, please visit thesuburban.com.
Stop being single. Remember to sign up for the Stop Being Single newsletter and get weekly tips about how to stop being single and how to start up a love life. Sign up at franktalks.com now.
Welcome to Passion, a show all about love, sex, and relationships. Tonight on the program, The Boys Club. We give men equal time. Who's in studio? Ryan Ryder, our usual
Good evening, Lori.
CJAD producer guy here. Frank Kermit, who's a regular contributor to Passion. He's a dating coach and writer and all that jazz. And a brand new contributor to the Boys Club is Neil Kaminsky.
Good eevning.
He's not new to me. He is my web guy. You know, everybody needs a web guy, and he happens to be mine. So, does that sound weird?
You're
my web
you seem
guy.
Very possessive.
I know. I am sorry.
So
you're mine. You're all mine.
So what's the initiation for Neil tonight?
I don't know, but how do you want to initiate?
He has
Don't
to
scare
sing,
him.
Well, he's the web guy, right? He has to sing the Spider-Man theme song.
Spider-Man.
Oh, he has a little boy, so he knows it.
What about if I shave your head for the initiation? Too late.
Yeah, too late for
Started
that
shaving.
one.
Okay.
Thanks for being here. It's great to have new voices, new blood, new opinions, and we always have some stuff to talk about. And sometimes it gets a little crazy, but we'll try and keep it all under control tonight. How's that?
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, by the way.
Oh, yes. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. That's true. And we're all here working on Thanksgiving, but that's just fine. So, okay, read this article. I want to hear your thoughts on this. First of all, the article was Training a Man for Marriage is Not His Wife's Job by Tracy Moore. She wrote this article based on something that Obama recently joked about to a newly married woman. He says that it takes 10 years to train a man properly for marriage, and patience is required, is what he says. So what she writes, which I love, is, so what President Obama is suggesting really is that women, on top of dealing with internet trolls, domestic abuse, higher rates of sexual assault, and being paid less than men for the same work, must also deal with the mighty task of reforming all of the world's males into decent husbands. I want to have your thoughts. The two married guys, Ryan knows nothing yet about this kind of stuff. Absolutely nothing, but that's okay. You can imagine. Do women need to train their guys? Is this what it's all about? Do you feel trained, Neil?
Yeah, well, so I'll predicate this by saying I've been married for 11 years.
Okay.
So the training period is hopefully over.
Oh, I hope so.
But there definitely is a breaking in period. You're well domesticated.
And what does that mean, a breaking in period?
I think any successful relationship is definitely based on some sort of foundation where the man and the woman will feel each other out and learn from each other and help each other grow. And if there's no nourishment going on, then I don't think the relationship's going to sustain itself.
You're 100% right about all of that. But do you feel that your wife had to train you in a certain way to say, do the laundry right, or do this right, or do something?
In my particular case, no.
Oh, okay.
Because I happen to be more domesticated than my wife is. And if she's listening, she might not appreciate that.
I like that. That's funny.
I'm the one who takes out the trash and does the laundry.
You're supposed to do that. Okay.
Yeah,
the laundry.
I do the
okay.
laundry.
Mm-hmm.
So
do you do the cooking too?
No, that I don't do.
Oh, you don't do the cooking. So you just do the laundry, but you don't do the cooking. See, in my household, my husband does the cooking. I'm okay
So
with the laundry, but he does the cooking.
So you're blessed. You're lucky.
Why? It's equal. Why am I lucky? I think it should. That's the way it should be. Frankly, I don't think that I'm lucky. I think that I'll do the laundry. He can do the cooking. We divide the tasks.
I would think most women are afraid to let their husbands cook.
Really? I don't know about that. I think I'm just glad I'll do it if I have to. I just don't really want to. Frank, any thoughts on that?
I think, first of all, it's gender bashing. first of all. Because if you reverse the genders and what Obama said,
Right.
that it takes, the first 10 years for a man to train a woman how to be a wife, you'd have a lot more people in an
Yeah,
uproar.
you're right about that. You're right about that.
So
It is very stereotypically.
It's gender
whatever.
bashing.
Right.
Okay, and how do you know? You do the Wendy Maltz test. You reverse the genders and you see if it causes any sort of uncomfortable feelings. And if it does, you know that it's wrong in all cases.
That's a good point.
Okay.
I like that test. Mm-hmm.
And overall, I find a lot of the people who are complaining that not enough people do enough tasks around the house, for example, usually they tend to be control freaks who wouldn't allow somebody to do it because they want it done their way.
Right.
So, you should do more laundry, you should do the dishes, you should do X, Y, and Z. How often has a man in that case done those things and then told you did it wrong?
Right.
As opposed to, okay, well, you do it your way, I'll do it mine. No, you got to do it my way. After a while, do you really think that these men are encouraged to say, yes, I'm going to continue to do it? No, I'll do it my way. Stop micromanaging. You don't have to tell me what to do. You're not my mother. It's turning me off. Goodbye.
You're a little angry there, Frank. Are you okay? Have you been told that?
Actually, I grew up in a household where I wanted to learn how to cook. I wanted to do the laundry.
Okay.
And every time I tried, my mother insisted that it was her role, and how dare I?
Really?
Yes.
See, that to me is thwarting a kid's independence. I would love it if my kid said, show me how to cook and show me how to do this and that, so I don't have to do it.
I wanted to do it because of the amount that she complained.
About what she was doing.
No, about what I wasn't doing.
Oh, okay.
She would complain to my cousins about all the stuff I wouldn't do. And then when I said, no, you know what, I want to learn how to do this for myself because I don't want you to complain to people anymore. She put her foot down and said no. She pulled a major fit when I attempted to do my own laundry.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess
There's always
message is there.
two sides to every story.
I think it took me 6 or 7 years to be trained to put the toilet seat down.
Let's not get started with that.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
not-
you're funny. We used to have arguments about almost every boys' club. There was an argument about the toilet seat.
And it's coming up
Almost
right now.
I
It's
know,
coming
isn't
up.
that wild?
And now there's 3 boys in the house, so you can imagine.
Oh, your poor wife.
How many times she's practically fallen through.
Right.
Yeah, so actually, I think all men should know how to cook and do the laundry.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You know how to cook and do the laundry?
I've always known how to do laundry. It's obvious how to do laundry. And
yeah.
cooking,
It's obvious to somebody who knows how to do laundry. It's not so
you
obvious
just gotta
somebody
put
who
it in.
doesn't
You
know
gotta
how
put,
to do
put
it.
the right temperature, put the detergent in, and do the laundry, and put it in the
Or
dryer,
my
or hang
wife,
it up, and
my
fold the
husband,
clothes.
yeah, but you know what? My husband always says, the first time she asked me to do laundry, I just threw in a red shirt with all her whites. I never have to do laundry again. Yeah,
You make the
okay.
mistake once, you never do it again, Lori.
Yeah, well, he has been banned from the laundry room.
That's my
since
point.
then.
That's my point.
Oh, well, he turned everything pink. Excuse me.
There's a learning curve for everything. Are you telling me you didn't make mistakes when you were learning a few things?
Never.
You know,
Oh my God, never.
there could be a dark side to this where maybe he set out to fail on purpose.
Yeah, that's exactly what he says. He says, I didn't want to do the laundry. We'll take a break and come back to the Boys Club and would love to hear some of your thoughts. 514-800, or if you want to bring up a topic and get the guy's perspective right here, right now. Tonight on Passion on C.
Boys Club. Boys Club.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Lori Bettito on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
The Boys Club tonight on the program, 514-790-0800, or you can text us at 514-800. We've got Ryan Ryder, Frank Kermit, and Neil Kaminsky of Red Dream Studios in studio with us here tonight. And, different topics. So one of them, the article we were talking about, is training a man for marriage. Is it a wife's job or not? Ray says, seriously, Dr. Lawyer, you should know that most women don't want men in their kitchens. I'm 66. My girlfriend's 40. I do the cooking when she's at my place. Good. Well, I think it should be equal.
Well,
I think there should be
I
one.
do cook, but I enjoy eating better than cooking.
Okay then, Ryan. Okay then. So you'd like a partner that cooks.
Yeah.
So that you can eat.
You want to know the way that I learned how to cook? Actually, it was because my grandmother was ill, so my mother was always spending a lot of time with my grandmother.
Okay.
Always growing up, I always ate my mother's cooking, but then since she wasn't home, I
made
had
your own.
to fend for myself, and I just learned to cook a lot of stuff, and that's how I cook now.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because sometimes it's because you have to. But I know I have a friend whose son is like a gourmet chef. Started at 16 or 17, just took an interest just by himself, and makes gourmet meals and just loves it. Now his future wife's going to be very happy with that. But you know what you're talking about, like my husband started cooking at 15 because his mother was dying, and while his mother was dying, was teaching him how to make, how to cook. So he had no choice, because when she did die and he was only 15 years old, he took over the task of cooking for the family. So sometimes it's by not necessarily by choice, by life circumstance, but it worked out well for me anyway to have somebody who knew how to cook. He makes all the good stuff.
In my situation, my mother would not let me in the kitchen.
Really?
It was basically her domain. Yeah. So
just like Frank.
Yeah, if we were to step foot in the kitchen, it was basically...
Get the hell out.
Exactly.
Really?
So I grew up being trained how to cook canned soup. Right. That's basically my experience, and that's about it.
Yeah. And that's too bad. That's too bad that it's on gender lines there. I bet you if you'd been a girl, your mom might have said, sure, come, I'll show you how to make this, or the other.
Possibly. I think it would have been expected.
Yeah.
I think in some cases it's simply expected based on gender.
I wasn't interested. When my mother's an amazing cook, and I just wasn't interested in watching. She'd say, come watch. I said, nah, I have other things I want to do. Let me go listen to my music. I just wasn't. It wasn't the thing that even attracted me. I don't know.
You're more into passionate things.
That wasn't the thing I was passionate about, clearly. Wasn't food. Texter says, only weak men need training, and it is a darn shame that our society encourages this sort of gender bashing, as Frank was saying. There's a reason gender roles worked for so long, and when the roles are reversed, you get this whole debacle, and women dump the weak men. Truth is, women don't want to date weak men or to train them. They want strong male figures that can lead or know how to act. Frank, I know you that's your ball game right there.
This person's probably studied some of my material. That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct.
Right.
And nobody should be training anybody, but everyone is responsible for telling the other person, this is what I expect. This is how I want to be treated in a relationship.
Right. Especially the expectations. Like, this should happen before you move in together, before you commit to each other, all of that. Okay, I have a question here. Ryan, you posted this from Virgin, right?
Yeah, the way I got this is I produced the MC Mario show on Virgin 96, one of our sister stations, 95.9 FM. And MC Mario actually sent me a picture, and the question was exactly what you're going to pose.
A year with no sex or a year with no cell phone.
Yeah, so MC Mario said to me, he's like, are you sure I can post this? I don't know. It's a little out there. And I'm like, sure, yeah.
I'll post it on Passion for sure.
Yeah, so we posted it on the Virgin Facebook the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it'll get a great reaction. And we had
did.
We had a lot of response, and it's a really good question. So I want to know what you guys think first before I give my answer.
What's a cell phone?
A year with no sex or a year with no cell phone? What's a cell phone? You wouldn't give up the sex for the cell phone.
No, the cell phone I can easily toss.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it's... I'm not saying that because obviously sex is enjoyable.
Yes,
the connection and the intimacy is more important than the physical act, at least in my mind.
You are well trained. I'm just kidding.
You wouldn't say that if he was a woman.
No, you're right. It's terrible. I'm terribly sexist. Go ahead.
But I'd love to ask my wife the same question.
Okay, text in, Neil's wife. 514-800.
I'm sure she's sleeping by now.
Okay, Frank, you, a year with no sex or a year with no cell phone? I think I know the answer to yours.
Sex is healing and balancing, and cell phones can be done without.
You barely even use your cell phone. And I
That's
never
what I
even
was
reach
thinking.
you on it. I never reach him on his cell phone, ever. He's
more
talk at home.
Facebook. Do you use your phone for Facebook, or you're on your computer for Facebook?
Well,
You don't even have a data phone. You don't have a
No.
smartphone. You just
I-
have
I
one of
have-
those regular little phones.
I got my cell phone. I got the lowest plan possible. It's strictly a cell phone for absolute emergencies.
Yeah, wife
and
needs to
nothing else.
find you because son needs to be picked up.
Yeah,
That's it,
Yeah.
right? All right,
This is a
that's what I
tough
thought.
question for me because I've got unlimited talk, unlimited text, a lot
You're
of data.
attached to that thing.
This is like an extension of myself. Most recently, last month, I dropped my phone in a swimming pool, and I went 2 weeks.
Without one?
My first time in 11 years without a cell phone.
How
And
did
that,
you manage?
That was an experience. Like I realized how dependent we as a population have become on our cell phones.
How about you?
And me especially,
Yes.
like being in a media centric industry, I'm constantly on my phone reading emails.
So
reading-
you would
reading
give up a
tweets.
year of sex.
It's tough. It's a tough question, but I think I
I
would
know
have to
you would.
choose
You would.
choose my cell phone.
I knew it. I knew it.
What about Taylor Noakes and
Taylor,
Master Control?
you?
I'd like to know this.
How do you call for sex if you don't have a cell phone?
Oh,
Good one.
good one, Taylor. Good one. Good one.
No, seriously,
Oh,
it's not even a question. I mean, you can easily give up the cell phone. My God, we're not that dependent on. There's payphones out there. There's
Oh
those.
yeah, right.
Oh,
Go
you're
find
right.
a
Yeah, you're-
payphone, Taylor. No,
use a
you,
payphone,
you
maybe.
won't. You
If
won't
it's
find it.
1980.
You will not find it. Let's take a short break and come back with more Boys Club here on Passion on CJAD.
This is Passion with Dr. Lori Petito on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
Boys Club tonight on the program. We have Neil and Ryan and Frank in studio. We're talking about a year with no sex or a year with no cell phone. Which one would you opt for? Send us your answer. 514-800. Texter says, does oral sex count? There's got to be some loophole for the sex option. I can't live without my cell phone. No
Great
loophole. No
text.
loophole. The only loophole is self-stimulation is okay. You can self-stimulate, but in other words, you can masturbate, or and you give up your, yourself.
Can you bring it in bed with you?
What?
Just the
self-
phone.
The phone.
Yeah, just leave it on vibrate, I guess.
It's like FaceTime. You can only have FaceTime sex. You're not
Well,
allowed
no
to have
phone
real
sex.
No.
No phone sex, no Skype sex, no nothing.
No phone. No phone.
No.
Oh,
I
for
said
the
if you choose the cell phone
Oh,
over
if you
sex,
choose the cell
you can
phone
do like
over sex.
FaceTime
Oh,
sex.
no.
No, you can't.
No.
It's like
no
a
sex.
few episodes ago we were talking
Can't.
about how there are going to be like sex robots in the future.
Oh yeah. Would you have sex with a sex
No,
robot?
I said I'm not interested.
Right.
I think Frank said he wanted. Were you on that episode, Frank?
No, I was not on that episode. However, I am more than happy to entertain the girlfriend and the wives of all the men who choose their cell phones over sex.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. 514-800. Would love to hear your thoughts on that. A year with no sex or a year with no cell phone? Which one would you choose? And what do I get in return? What should he get in return?
There's nothing in return. It's a theoretical question.
Extra sex, the
no
following
sex,
year?
no sex for a year, no cell phone for a
You know,
year.
but he does bring up a good point. Because what if at the end of that year you got some sort of a prize? Then maybe the sacrifice would be worth it.
Well,
Don't they do game shows in Asian countries of this nature where
should we give away a prize on the show? Should we do something like that? What can we give away? We'll think about that during the news. How's that?
A prize for what?
I don't know. For incentive to go a
would
year
you
with
give
no
up
sex.
your cell phone and sex for $1 million?
Yes, I would.
Okay, there you go.
Notice how things change.
For 5 years.
There you go. For
No
5 years.
No longer than 5 years.
Yes.
though.
Notice how things
And I'll get
change.
a tablet to replace the cell phone.
No. No electronics. No electronics.
The following program contains mature subject matter. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Lori Petito on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
A year with no sex or a year with no cell phone? The question being posed by the boys on the Boys Club here. The boys are Ryan Ryder, Frank Kermit, and Neil Kaminsky. What would you say? Grace says, I've already gone a year without sex, but I also hate my cell phone, so I guess it doesn't bother me either way. Jay says, take my cell. The bill is cheaper for an escort than the cell company. I joke. Sex stays, sexting goes. I rather real breasts than these. Oh, that's so cute.
He sent an emoticon.
I
of
love
breasts.
it. I've never seen that for breasts before. it's parentheses with the question mark in the middle. I never saw that. And two of them. Very good.
She's going to use it in her next
I'm gonna have to use that now. That's right. I'm gonna have to remember that. 514-800. Okay, Frank, who writes for the Suburban, the online Suburban, on relationships and such, wrote an article this past week, dating the ex of your friend. So I just want to get everybody's take on this. Frank, you could talk about your take on this as you wrote it, but what would Ryan? You're the single guy in this grouping here. Would you date the ex of a close friend of yours?
Ooh, this is another tough question here. Not as tough as the sex or cell phone question, but
well, that one was an easy one for
I think
you.
it really depends the situation. Like for me, I would not plan to go after an ex of a friend of mine.
So you would not. You'd stay away.
I would try to stay away.
Okay.
It really would depend how serious it was. Like for me personally, like if I was dating a girl and it didn't work out for me, like I would not be opposed to like telling
your
a friend
friend,
like,
okay.
oh, maybe the two of you would work better as a couple. It didn't work out for us, but it all
See,
depends.
that to me is a very mature outlook. That's a very mature way. Look, if it doesn't work for me, I'm not going to stop you from being happy with this person. What if you can't stand the ex-girlfriend?
Okay, if I can't stand, I don't think it's a good idea. And on the other way, it also depends how serious it was. Like if I was dating someone for a long time.
That's true too. What if you were married to that person?
Yeah. I've never been married. Let's say I was in like a serious relationship with a girl. Then I find out that she's dating a friend of mine. The other thing is if it's in your face or behind your back. The worst is if it's behind your back.
Yeah, that I've seen. I've seen friendships be destroyed because it is behind their. Nobody's ever said.
If you're dating someone, it doesn't work out, and then your friend's like, I really like this girl that you dated a few months ago. Is it all right if I ask her out? And
Why?
You have to respect the bro code.
Why does anyone need your permission for their love life?
Because friends come first, especially if you haven't even dated a girl.
He believes in the bro code.
Yeah,
you're saying your friends come first. So if you have a serious girlfriend that you want to be the mother of your children, are you still putting your friends ahead of the future mother of your children?
But he hasn't
That's
developed
different.
that yet. He hasn't gone after that.
And there's so many other girls. It's like maybe you really really like this girl. You want to date her. You be a man and you go to the face of your friend and you tell him.
You didn't answer the question. You are in a relationship with a girl that is going to be, you've decided, the future mother of your children. Who do you put as a priority? Your friend or her?
This is apples or oranges, but in that case, her. But that's later
yes,
down
but
the road.
he doesn't. He's not dating her.
Exactly.
It's a potential at this point.
But that person may think to themselves, I like that girl so much. She dated my friend, but you know what? I like her so much. I see her as the future mother of my children.
So you're willing just to push your friend away and screw him over?
That's
not very good.
I asked you, what was the priority? And you said that as if she was important enough to you, she's the priority.
But he hasn't even asked her out yet. Like that, the whole thing is he hasn't even.
And what if Ryan says no? But they should be together. They could have had an amazing relationship. They could have had a divorce.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Like there's plenty of people you can have relationships with.
Let's find out.
So you say he should go for it,
even
if it is his friend's ex, if his friend would be upset by it.
Always remember something. Your love life is your responsibility. And every time you have to ask everybody else permission for you to have a love life, you know what happens? You end up single. Permanently. It's nobody else's business for you to be happy.
I don't know. Not in that case. Sometimes you have to have respect for friends.
So you would give up on a girl that you were madly in love with if your friend said, hey man, don't date her. Her and I have 3 dates.
Madly in love with? Madly in love without ever having been on a date yet?
What if it's a circle of friends? Let me give you a real context here, okay? Social circle. Mm-hmm. Guys and girls. Group of them are friends. They've been hanging out for years. People hook up. People end up dating for a while. One person says, there's that one girl in that group. I've known her for years. We're really good friends. We've never dated. But she dated one of the other guys who happens to be my friend.
Right.
So I would go to him and I would say, is it all right if I take her on a date?
And if he says no, you would give up on somebody you've been in love with for years?
It depends the situation here. It really it all depends. You can't really generalize, but I think in most cases you have to be open, whether it's in a relationship or whether it's telling your friend that you want to date an ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend of theirs. You got to be open and you got to be upfront to their face.
I wouldn't want to build a foundation of a relationship based on guilt. If you're going to sort of stab your friend in the back by going out on a relationship with this girl you've been head over heels for, yet the consequence is ruining that relationship. I would think it's going to be kind of awkward either way.
Right, and if it works out, and if those two people end up having a fantastic marriage together, are you saying that they should opt for a friendship which may or may not last going into the future? People have other responsibilities. People have their families. People have their own problems.
Depends how close you are with the friend, I guess.
I don't want to say bros over hoes because that's very.
That's
I'm gonna
so
say
12.
I'm gonna say bros
That is
over
so
over
12.
over girls.
Don't ever call girls that.
No, I said I'm not gonna say that.
You said it.
I said I'm not gonna say bros over hoes.
But
I'm gonna
you
say
said it.
I'm gonna say bros over
It's
girls.
very Big Brother.
Yeah,
Ew.
bros
Yuck.
over girls.
Yuck.
But I have a group of friends where this actually impacted the entire group. Where
Oh,
one
really?
guy was dating a girl, and they weren't dating very long. They went on like a few dates. But it wasn't serious. And then it didn't work out for the two of them. And then behind his back, one of our other friends was dating
The same girl.
the
that
same girl. And when he found out, it just created a whole ruckus and it split up our whole group.
But why? Why would that's
There's a
good
difference here, okay?
Because he went behind the back, and
What, are we
this is
talking-
exactly why you got to
It
be upfront.
introduces an ick factor.
Yeah.
That's
hold
the
on,
problem.
hold on. Are we talking about infidelity, or are we talking about...
No infidelity.
No,
here,
they were
right? No.
done. They were done.
Well, they were done. So why, if the two people end up hooking up and let's say having a one-night stand, should they go to the entire social circle and say, hey, everybody, we had a one-night stand. We're sorry, but we should completely be open about our private lives just to make sure that everybody else is okay with it and gets all of your approval.
It was just the whole sneakiness about it. Like they've regretted being so secretive about it. Like they said,
Because
if
you
they
all
went, if
punished
they went
them
back
for
in
an
time, they would have
unrealistic
told.
expectation.
They would have
Yeah.
told the other friend that he was dating his ex.
Here's my ex-wife hooked up with my present wife's ex-husband. If you ask me, it's just creepy.
Getting
Now,
complicated.
I've known of 3 situations where it's been flipped,
Yeah.
where the
swap.
couples have been friends and where one ended up having an affair and then leaving and starting that relationship, and then the other 2 hooked up too. So I've known 3 different situations like that, which I find it is the ick factor. You brought up the ick factor. That's exactly how it makes me feel.
I think as long as
ick.
there's transparency,
yeah,
then
yeah.
I think
we
it's
have to
okay.
be grown up.
I think
if
it's
there's
okay.
transparency.
But up to what point do you have to get everybody's permission to decide who you can and cannot date?
I don't think you have to get everybody's
everybody?
permission. I don't think you have to get everybody's permission. I
You
think
shouldn't
just
have to get anybody's permission.
At least the friend who was dating the
I
woman.
just think it's out of respect, Frank. I think
Yeah.
out of respect for a friendship
A real
to say,
friend-
I'm interested in this person. I'm not asking you permission. I'm telling you I'm interested in this person. I plan to ask her out.
It's the same thing as when you ask your future wife's father, "May I have the permission to marry your daughter?"
And let me ask
You're
you
not
something.
really
Should-
asking permission. You're to do it anyways. But there's still the transparency and the, I guess, quote unquote, chivalry of doing
Should
it.
a man go and ask the father before he asks the woman and talks to the woman about getting married?
Traditionally, that's probably what happens.
Okay, let's forget tradition for a second. Is that a smart move to do right now? For a man to go up to the father and say, "Hey, I want to marry your daughter."
No, because he's
and
going
not
to tell
talk
the
to
daughter. You gotta propose to the
Yeah,
daughter first.
that's
and
not
then
going to
tell
work.
come
That's
on.
not,
No, then
let's
tell the
have some
father, I mean.
communication here. We'll be back with the Boys Club here on Passion on CJAD.
This is Passion with Dr. Lori Bettito on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
We have interesting text here on the Boys Club tonight. Where's Jerry Springer when we need him? So we're talking about the bro code and not dating your friend's exes, or do or don't. I don't know, whatever you decide. Another text says, you don't ask for permission for anything. You like her, go for it. If the friend takes it personally, that is his problem. Instead, he should be happy for you. It's as ridiculous as calling dibs on women at a bar. They aren't property, for God's sake. I like that. It's like calling dibs on
Yeah,
somebody.
I do
Perfect.
think you should call
Thank
dibs.
you.
If
Thank
two
you.
friends like the same girl, I
You think you should call dibs?
Yeah.
Really? I got dibs on her?
Maybe not at a, not
You
necessarily
see
at
what
a
I
How
bar.
do you
You
treat
see
women?
that?
No, I mean like if you both have the hots for the same girl and you know her, it's like, okay, I'm calling dibs on her first, and I'm gonna make the move before you.
Why don't you just both agree, hey, let's just both go for it, and if she happens to like one of us over the other, then too bad for the other one.
Yeah.
That's for showing respect for a friend, because you want your friend to be happy.
Well, I know that I would win in that case.
Oh,
yeah.
it becomes
Then don't be afraid of the competition. If you're going to be that smug, don't be afraid of the
becomes
competition.
like a cockfight after.
That's right. It's exactly what
was that a man or a woman who wrote that?
I don't know. Didn't say. Wow, looks like men are more loyal to friends. Women usually just grab the man, and as a female, it upsets me. Women also often dump single girlfriends when married. Interesting that women might behave a little bit differently than men.
I think that's a smart move. I like the way this person thinks. Smart move.
Why would they dump single girlfriends? They want to. Is she saying
well,
that
she
they
says
steal
as
their
a female,
men?
it upsets her that women usually just grab the guy. You know, they don't think about their female friends, or they go out, they start to date, or they get married, and they dump their female friends.
Well, listen, sometimes they have to dump the female friend because the female friend becomes a threat to the marriage.
Well, or not. Like, why would she be a threat to the marriage necessarily? You know?
Because she wants a guy in her life, and she figures this guy's willing, and my friend likes him, so he's got to be good enough, and she has no other options.
That's one way of looking at it, I suppose. Let's go to Carol on the line. Hi, Carol. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Very interesting conversation. A nice guy, Mr. Taylor. Okay.
Our new producer, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
At the controls.
Yes, he's a sweetheart. Yes.
And my opinion is that I cherish more friendship, especially a long time friendship, rather than a lover.
Okay.
And I can understand that women, after a while, when they're married, they don't see their girlfriends anymore. I can understand probably because the competition could be bigger between two women instead of two guys.
I have never felt
But
that.
I appreciate, when I used to go out with my boyfriend, I always liked when he was watching his sports and his friends would be around. I never had a qualm about that.
Yeah, I totally
get that. I think
that.
guys should be with guys sometimes. It's good for their minds.
Yes.
And I think women should be with their women friends to take everything off of their minds. To me, it is a healthy.
It's healthy. It's absolutely healthy. No question about it. To leave all your friends behind just because you're married?
No, that
I don't think
agree.
that's healthy.
That I don't agree.
Yeah,
I'm
with you, Carol.
Unless it becomes a threat, like Mr.
I don't see how
Kermit
that.
was saying.
Except I don't see how that. Like, I have so many girlfriends. Never would I it would even cross my mind that they were a threat to my marriage.
Well, good, because you happen to have good people and no evil-minded people, so that's good.
Maybe. Thanks so much, Carol, for your
you.
call. Okay, bye-bye. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask her the question. A year without sex or a year without cell phones? So it's too late now.
Frank?
Two things. One, she says that she would value a friendship more than a lover. If she tells that to the guys that she dates, or she gives off that vibe, she may end up single. Because a guy's going to say, well, I want to be in a relationship with you, but you're already saying that you would choose your female friends over me, your potential lover, your current lover. That doesn't inspire men to want to commit.
To me, it's not a choice. Like, why do you have to choose? You know.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but as soon as you start taking things away from a relationship, as soon as you start taking things away from normalcy, such as taking friends away,
yeah.
you actually take things away from the relationship itself.
I imagine a partner that says to you, "You can't go out with your friends." Neil, you know what? No,
Yeah.
we're together now, and I don't want you going to
Absolutely.
watch football with your friends
it
anymore.
sours the relationship totally.
Unless that friend that you're saying, hey, I don't want you hanging out with that friend, has said or done something which is trying to discourage your spouse from staying with you.
Well, that's different. That's
completely different,
yeah. If the friend is toxic and your partner sees the toxicity of it, and that friend is does bad things, I don't know, but
well, let's say the friend is jealous and says, you really shouldn't be with so and so, and that person you're too good for that person. After how long are you going to say enough is enough?
Right.
You need to keep your sense of individuality in a relationship, and it's not for your partner to judge your friends. Like,
oh, that's bull.
When you start judging your partner's friends, saying, "Oh, you can't hang out with this person, can't hang out with that person," that sounds very controlling.
Well,
and that's not healthy.
It doesn't work for me. The telling somebody you can't do this and you can't do that.
Yeah, unless
I have a hard time with that.
But if the person says, "I don't like your friends," it depends on the reason. If the reason is, hey, that friend keeps trying to get you to cheat on me by constantly going out and constantly introducing you, and they're going out to pick up, and they want you to go along to be the wing.
That's not the friend's partner. The problem. That's your problem.
Yeah,
you should
but
be trusting of your partner.
And shouldn't you be, I agree. You should be trusting of your partner in that.
To go out and be a wing?
No, that your partner wouldn't want to go out and be a wing guy.
Exactly, Lori.
That your partner would say no. Shut up.
We don't need Jerry Springer. We got Lori.
We'll read a couple more texts and say goodbye after this here on Passion on CJAD. We got the Boys Club here tonight on the program. Neil Kaminsky and Ryan Ryder and Frank Kermit all in studio tonight having some fun.
It's always a blast.
Always a blast. What were we just talking about before? Oh, yeah, let me read the test. Who is this Debbie Downer who says everyone is going to end up single? Is that Frank the Debbie Downer? Is that who he's referring to?
I said that if you put your friends ahead of the people you want to date,
you'll always be single.
No one's going to want to take a chance and get serious with you.
Right. Well, so Frank is the Debbie Downer, but another texter says, but Frank's the best. Very smart guy.
Yes, I am.
You got your lovers, you got your haters, but on that point, I got to disagree with you. Girls, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriends come and go. True friends stay forever. So
your boyfriend and girlfriend is supposed to turn into the, father and mother of your children. You still want to disregard them for your friends? There's a 40% divorce rate on there. Choose what side you want to be on.
50, pretty much. It's a fine line. I think I think it depends on a lot of factors. How close is the friend? How long did that person date for? And if that friend is even being reasonable. Sometimes that friend may not be reasonable, and you may want to say, you know what? I don't really want to be friends with you if you don't want my happiness. I don't have a problem with that.
Hopefully you're mature enough to realize, this is a toxic friendship, then they don't deserve to be part of my relationship.
Right. And why wouldn't you be happy for me? Like, I would want my friend to know, like, hey, this person, you don't want this person. You dumped this person. Why? If that person can make me happy, why wouldn't you want me to be happy?
As long as you're open and honest about it.
So the bottom line is transparency. I think that's what we all agree on, is that
Frank, I don't know.
Except for Frank. Frank doesn't agree on transparency in that respect. We'll have to do this another time, Frank.
Arg.
Okay, just quick. I was the first, the texter, I was the first one of my friends to get married and had a baby right away. I didn't intentionally dump my single friends, but it happened naturally. While they were at the clubs picking up guys, I was home with my family. I didn't want to get drunk and pick up guys. I had a family.
Smart.
Yeah, that's a whole different scenario.
Thank you very much, guys. Ryan Ryder, you can hear him all over the place. And Frank Kermit, you hear him on Dating Dilemmas here and occasionally fills in for me during the day. And Neil Kaminsky, Red Dream Studios. You can find him there. And Taylor Noakes, you'll always find him in Master Control these days. Thank you all for being here. Very much appreciated. Want to wish you all a great rest of the night. And please remember, life is short, so do take the time to smell the flowers and indulge your passions.
If you need help with your relationships, my buddy Frank, he's got some tips. Just go to franktalks.com. His advice is better than your mom's. He knows what you're going through, Frank has been there too. So log on to franktalks.com. franktalks.com.
Remember to sign up for the Speed Dating Advice newsletter and get weekly tips to increase your matches. Learn every speed dating secret that speed dating companies don't want you to know. Sign up at franktalks.com now.
What do you do when you
you feel like a fool when your heart has been broken again? Pick up the phone or get onto Skype and talk on a private session. Yeah, get a little help from Frank Talks. Whoa, whoa, get by with a little help from Frank Talks. You gotta try a little help from Frank Talks. What do you do when your love goes away? Try coaching one-on-one. How do I sign up to turn things around? Just sign up at franktalks.com. Yeah, get by with help from Frank Talks. I get by with little help from Frank Talks. Time to try a little help from Frank Talks. Doesn't cost a lot of money. It's the best rate going around. Could it cost a lot of money? Oh, it's worth every cent that you will put down. Yeah. FrankTalks.com. Oh, you got to go to get your help from FrankTalks.com. Yeah, yeah. FrankTalks.com. Would you believe that Frank gets results? Yes, we're certain. Just read the reviews. Frank knows his stuff, and Frank's got the goods. Good love can soon come to you.